pandemic is, of course, dramatically changing our everyday lives. As we continue our series on the new normal, we look at how those changes will affect the way we work, socialize, learn, and vote. This week, many voters in 2 states cast their ballots by mail. Ed O'Keefe shows us how the push to make voting safer while also safeguarding election integrity.
The coronavirus means the days of long lines of voters in libraries or gymnasiums could be over, at least temporarily, as states decide instead to let more people vote by mail.
This is not what any of us had envisioned months ago for how we wanted to run this election.
Voters in Ohio and parts of Maryland headed to the polls on Tuesday or dropped their ballot in the mail. Officials made the change as they tried to balance public health with participatory democracy.
I have 2 main priorities: keeping Marylanders safe and protecting their constitutional right to vote.
Polls show a majority of Americans now support expanding the vote-by-mail option.
We think it's a health issue at this point.
But others don't like the idea.
I think that mail-in voting is a terrible thing.
The coronavirus has completely scrambled the 2020 campaign calendar. Only 3 states and the District of Columbia are holding primaries as scheduled. Every other state has either postponed contests or expanded to a vote-by-mail system. And this week, New York, for the first time, canceled its presidential primary, set for June.
I've seen lines of people on television voting in other states. This is totally nonsensical.
A recent nonpartisan study estimates it could cost as much as $1.4 billion to ensure all voters have access to mail-in ballots by November. Proponents point to what happened with the Wisconsin primary this month to justify potential costs. Officials this week said at least 52 people who voted or worked the polls on April 7th have tested positive for coronavirus. It's unclear how they got sick, but the cases confirm the fears of those who wanted to delay the primary.
We could have moved to an all mail-in election, and at the same time, we could have protected the integrity of the election.
For CBS This Morning, I'm Ed O'Keefe in Washington.